This story is a little different. I'm going to tell a story about my dad. So my mum and dad like to occasionally take a cruise. My dad doesn't really like having holidays, but when he does, he kind of does them on the cheap. And a holiday on a cruise is a cheap holiday, so he loves it. So my mum and my dad went on a cruise, just the two of them, to Vanuatu, which is an island in the South Pacific. They book one of those shore tours where you get to go and see the island. And when they're on the tour, they come up to a waterfall. And you're just supposed to sort of walk, but they're walking sort of through a bridge. The waterfall is there. You're just supposed to kind of take nice pictures or whatever at the waterfall. You don't actually swim in the waterfall or in the lake below. But my dad sees the waterfall and thinks that if he touches the water, he'll live longer because that is the purest water you can get and it just looks so clean and fresh. So even though he wasn't supposed to, he kind of leans over the railing to put his hands in the waterfall to kind of, wash in that pure water. He does that, and as he puts his hands in the water, he feels the ring that he's wearing slip off and fall into the lake below. He starts screaming, "My ring, my ring!" And everybody's kind of looking at him like, well, who told you to wear your fancy ring? And who told you to put your hand in the waterfall? Nonetheless, the ring falls into the lake below, and he has no real prospects of getting it. The tour guide sort of apologises and says, "I'm sorry, but, we can't hold up the tour for you. There's not much we can do." But my dad wasn't going to take no for an answer. So he starts looking around for local village people. And he sees a couple of village boys who speak English. And he meets a boy called Jason. And he says to Jason that, "I'm a very important businessman in Sydney, Australia. I want you to try and find my ring. If you find my ring, you will get great reward." And he describes the ring to him. This little boy, Jason, says, "I will do my best, sir. I will find your ring for you." My dad gives him his email address and says, "Please, if you find my ring, contact me and I'll give you a big reward if you can return this ring. It's a family heirloom being passed down from generations to generations. It's very important to me." So the cruise finishes. My dad goes home. A couple of weeks goes by and he gets an email from this Jason boy saying, "Sir, I found your ring." Now, keep in mind, the ring was really beautiful and big and heavy and expensive. A lot of money to somebody in Vanuatu, probably 5,000 or something similar. So the boy could have just kept the ring, but he didn't. He emails my dad. My dad contacts him and says, "I'm coming back to get it." So my mum and dad book another cruise, the same exact fucking cruise. They go on the same tour. They meet the same tour guide. And then he meets that boy, Jason, who gives him back his ring. And my dad was so grateful he gave him a large reward. And it's just an extraordinary story that he got that goddamn ring back. I'll show you a picture of the ring. And that's the end of the story. This is the ring. And that's my dad on the cruise with the ring.